Hello, this is the software portion of the how to set up your floppy drives tutorial. So one thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is, first things first, actually, make sure that you install the Arduino and Netbeans programs. Links will be in the description as well as all the other links. And so first thing you're going to want to do after you install those two things is you're going to go and create a timer1 folder. And so what you're going to do is you're going to extract all of these 4 folders onto your desktop. So there they are right there. 1 second, I'm going to go clean up. And I'm going to go ahead and move them all the way over here. So where you're going to want to put them is wherever you installed your Arduino program. I happen to install mine under my Y drive. And so you're going to go into Arduino, under Libraries, and you're going to want to create a folder called timer1. And once you've created that folder, you're going to go ahead and drag those 4 things into that folder. Make sure they're all there. Yep, they're all there. So those guys are all going off to the side because we don't need them right now. And the next thing that we're going to go do is we are going to go to the moppy file. Oh, I open up 2. Oops. Alright. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drag this file onto your desktop somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right there. And open it. And you're going to want to go into Arduino, moppy, and drag this moppy file onto your desktop. And so once this is all there, you're going to want to go ahead and do all of your RxTX stuff. And so with your RxTX stuff, what you're going to want to do is download the appropriate one. So I got mine for 86. And what you're going to do is you're going to open up the file, drag out the RxTX.com jar and the RxTX parallel and serial DLL files, and put those on your desktop as well. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our File Explorer again and go to wherever you've installed Java or wherever you have Java. And I'm going to go into Program Files, this one. I'm going to go into Java, and I'm going to go into my JRE file. I'm going to go into Library, go into Extensions, and drag this one in. And I've already done this before to show one of my other friends, and I figured I'd make another video how to explain it, so that's why I'm replacing it. And the timer1 thing I deleted, but didn't think of deleting these. So then you go into the bin folder, and you go ahead and you drag and drop the DLL files into here. Let's see if they actually made it real quick. RxTX. Yep, they're here. Cool. So now we're done with those. And we can put those off to the side. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up Netbeans. And we are going to open a project. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the desktop, and we're going to go find wherever your moppy advanced file is. Go into Java and open up moppy desk. And then what you want to do is you want to right click it, go to Properties, go to Run, and type in the following: -d Java.library.path equals, and then this part you just want to put wherever you put your DLL files in, because that's what we're redirecting. So for me it was C program files x86 Java, and then the extension for whatever you had. So just to make sure, we are going to go over and we are going to double check just to make sure that we're not wrong. And yep, so we're going to see C program files Java JRE 1.8.0_131 /bin and then path. Awesome. So now that's done, and you want to go and hit run. Awesome. So now that we have all of this down, this is good. This is exactly what we want to have. And now let's go ahead and do the technical part. So this is what the final setup looks like after all. You have the Arduino connected to all of the floppy drives here, with the floppy drives connected through floppy to Molex all the way to the power supply. And the power supply is the fine line unit that plugs into the wall. And now we'll show you the breakdown of how all of this is put together. Alright, so for each floppy drive you're going to have a floppy disk that you're going to need. And there's only 7 on the table right now because this one has one stuck in it. So you're going to need 8 of those because I have 8 floppy drives just of themselves. You're going to need 8 floppy drives. You're going to need your power supply unit. Doesn't really matter what wattage it can support. I just chose the cheapest one on a website that was available, and it happened to be 550 volts, or 550 watts, so not bad. You're going to need an Arduino. You can use an Uno or you can use a Mega. It just all comes down to preference. I only have an Uno right now, but you can change all of that in the settings of Arduino, and I'll show you how to do that later. You're going to need a bunch of these female to male adapter cables. Here's an example of them. As well, you're going to need some floppy to Molex splitters. I was just really lazy and kept going back and forth to the store until I had the right number. So if you just think it out a little bit more than I did, you shouldn't have an issue with what you need. So let's get down into actually setting up the floppy drive. First thing that we can do is we can look at the back of the floppy drive, and if you want the front light to turn on every time that they're powered up, it's not necessary, but it's purely an aesthetic thing. What you can do is you can go to the pins at the back, and you'll see on mine here that I have a gap over here, and what you can do is you can count 3 away from that gap and go ahead and plug this bad boy in to the ground and into the light. Awesome. Well, now what we can do is we can go ahead and we can plug in the step and the direction pins. And so what you can do is if you count 2 away from the light pins, go ahead and plug that in, and go ahead and plug the next one in. And there you have your step and your directions. And then the next thing you can do is, I like to keep these together just so that you don't lose them, is plug in the grounds. And the grounds are literally just underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the floppy drive over and plug both of them in. And that is the setup for the floppy drives, and that's the way you do it for all 8 of them. It's really not that complicated. Once you have it down, you just repeat the step, and now we can actually move on to plugging them into the Arduino. And now we can go ahead and plug everything into the Arduino. And plugging everything into the Arduino is also really simple. If you look over here, our beginning wire is green and our ending wire is blue. And the way that I always remember it is that in the first port, the last cord is plugged in. So since the last cord is blue, we're going to plug that into the first port. And the first port that we're going to plug it into is 2. Into the second port, which is right here. So we're going to plug blue into 2 and green into 3. And then once those 2 are plugged in, we can start worrying about the ground. And so as you can see here, it's a whole delectable mess. And if I am able to comb through everything, here is all the grounds tied up together. And at the end of the ground, I have a ground cord attached. And what you can do is, after you've attached your ground cord, find the ground port on the Arduino, which is right here, and just go ahead and plug it in. And you want to follow this exact same process throughout the entire thing. Green came undone, I apologize. So you want to follow that entire process for all 8 floppy drives. So for the next couple, it would be your last wire, your first wire. For the next one, last wire, first wire, and it would go continuously. But with the Uno, you wouldn't have enough ports, so you would go ahead and switch to your analog ins, starting with A0 to A1, once again going from last to first, and then again last to first. So in order to actually turn on your power supply without it being attached to a motherboard, you have to short it, which isn't dangerous at all, but that's how you turn everything on. So what you want to do is you want to look for the green wire. So for me, it's right here, and that's connected to the 4th slot from the right. And so I'm just going to take a cord that I've stripped at both ends, and I tried to make it relatively short, and you're going to plug it into the port with the green. So that's right there. And then you're going to take the other one and look for black cables, and there's 3 right here. So that would be the 5th, 6th, and 7th slot away from the right. And just for shits and giggles, I'm going to put it in the middle. And there it's connected. Now, if I actually had a port or a female out port that I could plug my power supply into, it would run and it would be able to turn on, but unfortunately that's not the case right now. But once we actually plug this in, we'll be able to see that it turns on. The second thing that you're going to want to do is when you plug all of your Molex and floppies into your power supply, you want to look for the black cables or the black ends that look like this with the 4 little holes inside of it. And you're going to want to take the end of your adapter with the 4 pins and just plug it in. And then you're going to want to follow that all the way around until you find, well, this is another splitter, so just do the same in the end. And then take that splitter, plug it in with the bit with the floppy. So I'm going to plug this back together real quick. And then just plug that back into the hard drive or floppy disk, floppy drive, I mean, and it'll be all ready to go. So now that everything's plugged in and whatnot, and everything's ready to go, what we can do is we can go and we can open up Moppy. Just make sure that it's in a file called Moppy. I forgot to mention that earlier. Go ahead and open it. Go ahead and hit Tools. Just select what port you're going to use. I'm just going to use COM5. And the board, Arduino Uno. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could use a Mega, but I'm just not using one. And then what you want to do is go ahead and hit Upload. And there it is. No errors, no warnings. Done uploading. We can go ahead and minimize that, not close it. Go ahead back to Netbeans. And now that Netbeans is open, we can go ahead and hit the green Run Project button. Don't worry about the red stuff, it'll still open. So here we have it. And since we have all 8 floppy drives, you want to go ahead and select all 16 ports, because I'm probably wrong, I don't really know, this is just a guess of mine, is that each floppy drive can run 2 MIDI channels at the same time. I don't really know, but whatever, doesn't hurt to select them all anyway. So I went ahead and selected them all, and I went ahead and connected them all to COM5. Shouldn't take you that long. And all you do after that is hit connect, and that should be it. So once that's all done, just go ahead and load up any sequence. I have a bunch of really, really nice MIDI files. I'm not going to share them with you because half of the fun of being able to do this project is finding your own MIDI files, in my opinion. So we're just going to head and do All Star by Smash Mouth. It's loaded, and hit start. And I'm pretty sure that you're able to hear that. So, without further ado, that's been the video. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.